Okay, so this is my first video. I'm going to be working out question chapter 3, question 11, and so here's the question. I'm going to show you what the final product should look like, and then we'll go back from the beginning and figure out how to work it through. So here's my final project. You see I have my two classes, gradebook and gradebook test here, and I'm going to run it just to show you what it looks like. Oops. Well, I ran it one time already, so I'm just going to run it again just for you to view. This whole part here should not be there. So it'll start out with just initial course name is blank, and then please enter the course name. So I'll go science, just like I did again. And the instructor name, Mrs. Harris again. And you can see when I type those two in, it'll return welcome to the gradebook for science, and this course is presented by Mrs. Harris. So that's what your program should do when you're done. So we're going to start from the beginning. To start from the beginning, you're going to need to make a new project. And I'm just going to name it 311 example. And so here's my new project right here. And so I'm just going to make a new class called gradebook test. And gradebook and gradebook test, we're going to start off with the same code that's in your textbook. So gradebook test is going to be figure 3.8. So I'm going to make that now. And I'm going to open it. And I'm going to clear out all this old code. And all you need to do is go to your textbook and look at figure 3.8, which is on page, let's say 82 and 83 for figure 3.8. And you're just going to type that in here. I already copied it over. The only difference between mine and the textbook is I deleted the comments out of it. So let me find the right one. So here's my gradebook test. I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to put it into here. So I got my first class done. And then I'm going to make a new class called gradebook. Just like we did before. And so I'm going to clear out all this here and get to my text files, copy this over. Okay, so now I have both of these classes here to make up my program, and this is exactly like I said what came out of your book. So when it says modified gradebook class, modify the gradebook from figure 3.10, it's talking about this from figure 3.10, but you're also going to need this to run that code. So even though we're going to be making the changes in this code, we're still going to need this main class to run it all. So let's start in with letter A. So letter A is saying to include a string instance variable that represents the name of the course instructor. Well, let's explain how this works to start with. So you guys already know that we have the course name, and we can set the course name equal to whatever we want, and we can pull that course name and get it whenever we want. So I'm going to run through the code on how it works. When you start this file, you have the system scanner and all this stuff, which is normal. One second, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, sorry. So after you get to this part, it's going to look a little different right here. This gradebook is saying, and this line here is saying to make a new gradebook. And when I just say new gradebook, it's a little confusing, so I'm going to explain what it means. So gradebook is this part right here is corresponding to the class name. So it's going to that class name, gradebook, right up here, and almost like an integer or a float or double or string, this is just a variable name. And we can make anything we want, but the book wants to call it my gradebook. So I can change this and make a new gradebook called whatever I want, but we'll just call it my gradebook for right now. So gradebook here is this, matches up to here, and then my gradebook, which is like the variable name, I guess you could call it almost, because all the information inside, it's called a class instance, because this class over here could be used multiple times, and so this one's going to be called my gradebook, and so you're just calling that one instance my gradebook, and when you refer to it and you want the information for it, almost like you can see down here, you're going to say my gradebook to get that information out of that particular one. This whole program is only going to have one instance. So when I'm talking about all these multiple instances, I'm just trying to explain why we're doing this in the first place. So we're going to set that equal to a new gradebook, and this here is a method inside gradebook. Inside the class gradebook, this is a method. So when I hop over to here, you can see that here's this method gradebook, and I'm setting the course name equal to name. And whatever's in these parentheses, here is information that's being passed from this file to this one. This is a bad example because the parentheses are blank, which means nothing's being passed, and nothing's being set to name, so this is set to nothing, so course name is set to nothing. But when we move on, we're going to figure out that stuff gets passed back and forth. Here's the systemout.println, or print function. The initial course name is nothing, and my gradebook is like the variable that we set, which is the class instance, and this is going to store all the information that we set for that class instance. And you can almost think about this like a car. So if my car was the variable, and the class over here had all the car's information possible, then I could have information such as what the odometer's reading is, what the color of my car is, what the make and model of my car is, all that information. So if you want to think about it like that, that's what we're trying to do with these classes here, and my gradebook is an instance of that class. So it's like if you had a car class, it'd be that one car, so my car. But right now it's my gradebook, so it's that one gradebook that we made up here. We're trying to get its information. So we're taking the my gradebook dot get course name, so it's going to go to this class instance, which is over here, and get course name, and get course name is right here. So it's going to run this method, and when you do that, it's going to return whatever course name is set equal to. And course name, when you first start the program, is set equal to nothing, so you should receive a blank like we did. And then here it's going to asks us to please enter our course name, and so it's going to use the input, scanner input, just like we've been all used to. And you can see instead of next int, it's going to be next line for a string. And we're setting the string the name equal to whatever the user types in. When we go down to the next line, it's my gradebook, so we're getting the information from my gradebook dot set course name. So this time we're running set course name, and here you can see information is being passed along. So whatever the user typed in and whatever the name got set equal to, it's put in these parentheses, the name. So if I typed in science, for example, when the user's typing in their course name, if they typed in science, the name would be set equal to science, and then when they ran set course name, science would be set to the name here. This would run, come over to the here, set course name, and then right here it starts referring to that information that's being passed along. So string name would be set to science, or whatever they passed from the name over to here. So whatever this is corresponds to whatever that is. And the name here and the name there, this class does not need to know what that variable's name is. So the name here does not need to be the name here. All it's doing is passing whatever information is here over to here, and then this class can deal with it on its own. So this class doesn't even care what the variable was called, it just cares that the information is being passed along. After that, in here it's going to set course name equal to the new name, whatever the user typed in. So it's saying string name, and it's setting the course name, which is private to this class, equal to whatever the user typed in, or whatever this file is giving to this file here. It's going to set it equal to name, and then course name is going to set equal to name. And then after that, you can get your course name, and it'll be the updated new course name. So in the display, this works the same way. Display message, we're just running this little part of the code, and it says get course name, and we know that our new course name is whatever we set it to. So when we return course name, it's going to be that special course name. whatever the user typed in. So now that we know that, we need one for the instructor. So we need a way to get and set the instructor's name and to display that information. So we're going to go here and we're going to make a private string instructor. And you can name it anything you want, but I'm just going to name it instructor to make it easy. So now this class can store the information instructor. And that's section A. And now we're going to move on to section B.